What's up guys, I'm BTC. A recent statement put out by the company formerly known as Blizzard declared that they're going to be making a lot of changes, and one of those things is going to be an increase in the amount of regularly released content, and in fact, we're told that we can expect some of these new content announcements next week. There are a couple of things that we already know are going to be happening and are probably going to be included in this announcement. The first is the Lunar New Year event, which will be coming up very soon, and it will probably be, unfortunately, the same as it has been in previous years. And the second thing is a new experimental patch. We had one of these a little while ago, where the point was not to make a proper balance patch, proper balance changes, but rather to make something that is goofy and fun, and giving the characters wild abilities that they would never normally have in order to kind of spice things up. Now, I don't actually have a problem with this because it probably doesn't take a whole lot of work time away from things that would actually be important to the game, and I know that this is just temporary and it's not very serious, but it can be a good change of pace to throw out something a little bit different. As long as it's not the only thing that the company formerly known as Blizzard is actually focusing on, then again, I don't have a problem with it. In fact, I'd like to see more of this sort of thing, and I'm willing to bet the amount of time required to make these patches is maybe a few hours or a day at most, so we could get an experimental patch that would last for several weeks, almost every month, and I think that is a worthy investment of time. But I could also see some expansion upon this idea, including things like character concepts like the ones that I've created. It's not like Blizzard would have to create any new artwork or anything, they would just have to have the character concept overlap an existing hero, like what I've done in the workshop. And also, by the way, this is exactly what Blizzard does whenever they're creating a new character. They don't do any of the artwork or anything, they make sure the abilities work, and they just slap it on one of the existing ones. So they could very easily do that as an experimental patch, just to kind of goof around for a couple weeks. However, it's important to keep in mind that those sorts of experimental patches need to be considered only supplemental to the primary game content. And with that, I think there are several things that could be implemented in Overwatch that would take minimal effort while yielding maximum result. Number 1, release some of the maps that have been made for Overwatch 2. Obviously, there are maps that we haven't yet seen, and those should be kept secret for the release of Overwatch 2, but there are several maps that have been very thoroughly shown off through gameplay and live streams. And while there might be some small balance issues, these maps are effectively done. We already know that maps and game modes are going to be backwards compatible between Overwatch 2 and Overwatch 1 players, so unless there is some massive technical issue preventing these maps from working on the current Overwatch 1 engine, then I would strongly suggest that some of these maps be released over the course of the next few months. And if Blizzard still has concerns about potential balance issues with these maps, then just don't put them in the competitive ladder. Instead, drop them into quick play and onto the arcade. But the point I'm making here is that these maps are already done. We've already seen them. There's no surprise left in these maps, and there really isn't any reason, barring any sort of massive technical issues, why they shouldn't have been put into the game already. Just put in the maps, you can have one release every couple months, or whatever, until Overwatch 2 finally gets released. But these maps, there's really no reason for them to not be in the game. Number 2, release a new character, and the obvious choice would be Sojourn. We've already known about this character's existence for a very long time. We've already seen what her abilities are, we've already seen gameplay of this character, and in a similar situation to the maps, unless there's a massive technical problem that would prevent it, then why not just include the new character into the game? Again, it's not going to be a surprise. We've already seen this, and the game desperately needs a new character because it's been far, far too long. Now, I'd have to imagine that Sojourn was being balanced for the 5v5 of Overwatch 2, but even if she's not properly balanced for 6v6, that's probably not all that significant of an issue, considering that she's a DPS character, and unlike the tank and support, the role of DPS is going to change very, very little moving into Overwatch 2. So drop the character onto the PTR, and then make whatever changes are necessary in order to bring her in line with Overwatch 1. I realize that this would take up a little bit of time, but I have a feeling the amount of changes would be minimal and could very easily be done. And I'm going to be completely blunt here, and I know this might sound a little bit mean, but I think everyone knows that it's the truth. Whenever a new character is released for Overwatch, they are never, ever balanced properly. I don't think there has ever been a new character that has actually been properly balanced when it was first released into the game. So, having said that, I don't really think it's that big of an issue if Sojourn is added to Overwatch 1 and the balance isn't perfect, because, like I said, that's never been the case anyways. The last new character was released almost 2 years ago. It is well past due that a new hero be added to the game. Number 3. This is not new content, but would rather be an immediate fix to existing gameplay problems, and that would be to deal with the incredibly big problem of Smurfs. This situation has gotten to the point where it is thoroughly destroying competitive games, but what's incredibly frustrating about all of this is that Blizzard already has a solution that for some reason they simply are not using. Quite a while ago, Blizzard implemented a requirement for the top 500. That is, the account must have a unique phone number attached to it in order to be considered for the top 500 rewards. With, I'm assuming, very minimal effort, this could be applied to all of the competitive matches, requiring that an account have a unique phone number attached in order to queue up for anything on the competitive ladder. This system has already been tremendously successful on a variety of other games, and there really is no reason why Overwatch shouldn't be using it already. Of course, this is not going to get rid of every single Smurf account. There are going to be people that can still make extra accounts using the phone numbers of family and friends and that sort of thing. But even so, the number of Smurf accounts, if this was implemented, would likely be cut in half overnight. This single small change would be an incredible improvement to the overall gameplay experience for a massive number of Overwatch players. And really, there is no reason why it shouldn't already be done. Going forward, we know that Overwatch 2 is going to be used for the Overwatch League, and my guess is that there'll be an open beta for the rest of the players sometime around the middle of the year, with the game probably being released in third or fourth quarter. However, that still gives quite a long time from now until then, and there needs to be content to fill the gaps. This is where the new maps and characters will come into play, because they're already done. Barring any massive technical complications, just drop them into the game on a regular basis. Have a map 1 month, and then the new character the next month, and then a new map the following month. However system you want to use it, but start dropping in some of this already completed content. We've already seen it, we already know it exists, there's no surprises here, you're just keeping it from the players for not really any good reasons. So please, stop trying to wait until Overwatch 2 where you can just drop everything. Anyways, those are my ideas, what I think would greatly improve Overwatch over the next couple of months. What do you guys think? What do you think should be added or changed? Let me know down below. A big thanks to all the Paragons and other channel members for all your support. If you'd like to become one and grab some cool rewards, click the join button down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.